We are floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you two badass jet pilots, rumble. Welcome to the Wingmen Show, where we're floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you two badass jet pilots, rumble. Welcome to the Wingman Show. My name is Commander Drew Brown. My wingman, my friend, the guy who watches my six, my man, Dr. Paul Thompson. How you doing, Brother Paul?
Well, Commander Drew, I'm doing very well today. It's good to see you. You look bright and chipper. I like those airplanes behind you. They got smoke. I never saw an A6 with smoke behind it.
I know. Wait till I tell you all about my new jets.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, let's start this puppy off with the quote of the day. And this is, believe it or not, by Abe Lincoln. Kindness is the only service that will stand the storm of life and will not wash away. That's really good. Kindness is the only service that will stand the storm of life and will not wash away. And, you know, Paul, we've talked about this and I've said it on the show a million times and I'll say it a million more. The key to peace on earth is to be nice. I truly believe being nice is the key to having peace on earth. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I think that is the key. And so many things these days, you see people showing out doing just the opposite. But the reality is, most people are like that. They want, or they at least they want to be that way. I would say don't get caught up in all the flashy headlines and clickbait to get your attention. The whole world is not coming to an end and everybody's not bad. There are a lot of kind people out there. And we'll talk about one later in the broadcast.
Well, you're 100% right. And that's why we do this show, because there are good people out here and we represent some of the good people out here. It's not all bad like you would see on the news. And another thing, just on the kindness thing, you cannot beat nice. If somebody's nice to you, you cannot beat them no matter what. All right, let's do a little update. Dr. Paul, I got a couple of emails this week. One was from PayPal that I owed $926. It didn't come from PayPal. It came from an email named John Duran, but he had the official PayPal in there. He had all the numbers right. He had my name right, but it was a scam. The other scam was an email saying a friend of mine, actually who lives in Israel, wrote me a letter. And it looked weird. So when I went to his name, you know, to look at what the email address was, it was 55228877 A B C D E F at something UK. That's a scam. They wanted me to click on that link. How about you, Paul? Any scams this week?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, do you think you're the only one that got a scam request?
No, I don't think so.
Well, you're not, because I got one too the same day you did, but you owed 900 and something dollars. I only owed $238.
Oh, wow.
And it was going to, it was a PayPal link. It was perfectly done. The return address was like 10 digits and a name you can't pronounce in the UK.
How about that?
The same day, maybe it's the same guy. That's
Maybe they're watching our show, Paul, and they sent it to you and I together.
That could be. I had my Facebook account hacked about a year ago.
I remember.
Yeah, I didn't do all the protections that you could do. I didn't know. I didn't care. Anyway, major hassle, can't recover, got to start over. Lesson learned. Lesson basically protect yourself as much as you can. But what are you going to do? Because these scams are getting more and more sophisticated. Some are obvious, but some I'm probably susceptible to a bunch.
You know, when I was in the Navy, and remember we used to get mailboxes, and I used to get tons and tons of mail as the comm officer. And somebody once told me, if you have a lot of mail, throw it all away. The important stuff will come back.
That might
All
that
right,
that
but I do want to tell you this, Dr. Paul, I had a problem with my MacBook Pro with email. And I spoke to Apple, you know how good they are. And they brought this thing all the way up to Apple engineering, and they still could not fix it. They even sent me To Microsoft. I spoke with them for hours. They could not fix it. Guess what, Paul? Chat GPT, in about 3 hours of working with Chat GPT, and he's so nice to me, it fixed it. Chat GPT fixed my email account on Apple, and nobody else could do it. And that is incredible. And I just wanted to say that. Let's
We
talk about our title of this show, or autonomous flying cars in the future. Hell yeah. Tell me about it, Paul.
Yeah, there's a couple companies working on it now. There's one in China. I forget the name of it. They've been on it for about a year and a half, and I think they're going to have something operational by I think 2028 or 2030. And there may be another company in Vermont doing the same thing. Thing is, though, do you think? Tell me now. Do you think you're going to need a pilot's license to do a flying car?
That's a great question. And the answer is hell no. They're not gonna let you fly these flying cars. I have that Cybertruck, and I told you, Paul, I put my son's address in Tampa. I put the address in. The car takes me there without me touching anything. I put my daughter's address in New Orleans. Same thing, autonomous. So I will guarantee you that if we start having flying cars, it's all going to be autonomous because they're going to have to know, the cars will have to know where the other cars are in relation to them. And all these people are not going to get pilot licenses. So it's going to have to be autonomous because that would be the safest way of putting all these cars in the air. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's well, that's where things are going. Drones have been around a long time. Do you remember we were talking about uh I think it was a dropping the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Remember we talked about that a long time ago? Well,
Uh-huh.
I found that they were actually using drones during World War II, experimental drones. We
What?
I think on a B-29, and I had no idea. So this has been around for a while. Uh, Military's had drones. I remember that being in the vicinity of one that crashed actually in Puerto Rico. Uh, Something went on. See, I guess that's my only concern is that a stray signal may make it do something it doesn't want to do. There's got to be some intervention somewhere, maybe with a more sophisticated backup system.
Yeah, they're going to need some people involved. But I will tell you something. My Cybertruck, when it does drive autonomously, it's way safer than any of those other cars. It doesn't take chances. It won't do things that are crazy, and it just drives real good. I mean, it's perfect. It keeps right between the lines. It's amazing, actually. And I think autonomy is the thing of the future. You're not going to probably have to touch your car. You're not going to have to touch your airplane. It's all going to be all done automatically. And those drones, in wartime now, people are not even flying those attack jets like you and I flew, dropping bombs. They're doing this all by drones. There's nobody in these drones, and they're going to war. I
Mhm.
think that's the way of the future. I do believe that war should be illegal, though. It's crazy. I can't believe people are still killing people by the hundreds anymore. It's way out of my
It
scope of
would
thinking.
it would be better if it could be decided like maybe in a chess match.
Yes. How about we do some good news, Dr. Paul?
Okay.
Uh, Warren Buffett, you know who Warren Buffett is? He just donated $6 billion, and he divided it between global health, poverty alleviation, education, and social equity. $6 billion he gave Dr. Paul. The only thing is, he's worth 145 to 160 billions. So it'd be like you giving $1,000. But isn't that wonderful that people are starting to give his money? And I will say this one thing, Paul. He has said, and said it in the past, that when he dies, when he physically goes away, he's going to give 99.5% of his wealth to charity.
Yeah. Yeah, Commander, let's see, you gave the amount of money he has. So what would 0.5%, it was what's 138 million? Is that right?
What? How much he has 160.
160. Okay.
So
0.5%.
40 billion is 25%.
160. Okay. So he's basically giving all his money away except for 100 plus $1 million. Okay. That, I'm just, that's rough math. I had 0.5% of that.
I know, but the poor son of a gun who's gonna get his 100 million, you think they're gonna be upset?
Not too much. I know I had read something, and I guess this is public knowledge, that he's had some relatives that were not doing particularly well, but because they're not doing what he thought they should be doing, he's not helping them out.
Wow,
Yes.
wow. All right, how about this good news? Tesla just delivered a car autonomously. Dr. Paul, it drove itself 15 miles from the Giga Texas factory to the new owner's apartment all by itself. He called up, he bought it on the phone or bought it on his app like I did, and then the car was delivered autonomously. Tell me about the future with that.
You know what I thought? I wonder if packages will deliver themselves autonomously. It's kind of crazy. When you think about it, you come back home, you see an Amazon thing, and somebody delivered it there. What if the package flew itself? I know they're working on package delivery drones.
Yes,
That's a real thing. Remember I told you about the convention I went to last year, the OBAP convention in Memphis?
yes, I do remember.
Yeah, one of the presentations I sat in on was it was a startup company out of California, and they were doing some deliveries with Walmart, and they had this drone. They had a model of it. It was about the size of my desk. It could take a package the way I think up it was like 4 pounds, and it could take it about 2 miles accurately. And they were trying to expand that, and they were working there somewhere in California, I think Cupertino and Austin, Texas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, that's what our whole topic was about. The title of the show, Autonomous Flying Cars in the Future. They're going to have drones delivering packages in the air. What I'm saying is there's going to be a lot of traffic up there, and there's no way somebody is going to be able to get a pilot's license for all of these cars. The only way they're going to have to do it is autonomously.
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, because it obviously wouldn't work. Because what altitude will these things be at? I don't know. High enough to hurt you. So it's got to be something that's regulated. I'm just thinking crazy. Do you think they'll have like parachutes or something? What if you lose power?
I bet you the whole car has a parachute.
Yeah.
I
Then
bet you the whole thing will float to the ground. And you know
okay.
what? We're sitting here talking like, remember a long time ago when we were kids, we saw Dick Tracy with the television watch and he was the walkie talkie on the watch. And we were like, wow, that'll never happen. Well, guess what? It did. And this will happen too.
Yeah.
Because you always said technology is just ramping up even more quickly than ever now.
Yeah. It's ramping up. Between the time we started the show and the time we end the show, something that's just come out you don't know about.
That's very true. All right, Dr. Paul, let's check out those jets you were talking about. Now, behind Dr. Paul, he has beautiful blue angels with the moon and they're smoking, and it's a gorgeous picture. Well, guess what I did? I told AI I want A6s in formation. I want the moon there, and I want you to copy the picture that I sent in with the Blue Angels. They didn't do it exactly, but that's why you see the smoke, because that's an AI generated picture. They're beautiful, don't you think, Paul?
Yeah, they're great, and both pictures have the landing gear down. It matched it. It looked at some of the things. It's scary. It's not exact, but if you didn't know any better, you'd say, "Hey, this is a perfect replica."
No doubt about it. Well, everybody out there, thank you so much for supporting us and listening to us on Apple Podcasts, watching us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your reviews and for your thumbs up that you do give us. Dr. Paul always says, give us a 5-star review. We'll only give it to us if we deserve it. And how about this? On our website, and that website is wingmanshow.com. That's Wingman Show, WINGMENSHOW.com. On our newsletter this week, we have, how about this one? This is great. Learning technology that is now mandatory, regardless of your age. Learning technology is now mandatory regardless of your age. You have to learn this technology. And also on that website, we have our thing called the frequent flow line. And the frequent flow line is when you guys out there write us letters and we answer them. And we try to get to as many as we can. But I got a real deep one for you this week, Dr. Paul.
I'm ready.
All right. A 58-year-old woman from Las Cruces, New Mexico. And just a little side note, I went to New Mexico State University my first year of college, and that was in Las Cruces, New Mexico. All right, the letter says, I would like your opinion and advice on my problem. I have a cleaning lady and a yard man who are married who I've known for years. They clean my house and do the landscaping. She just informed me that the reason she had to cancel last week was because her undocumented sister was pulled over by police and she didn't have a valid license. They put her in jail. She's in jail and her future is unknown. This family works hard and are good people raising two beautiful children. They live scared now because of this situation. What can I tell them that may be helpful? This is horrible. Love your show. Keep floating and stinging. Thank you. Dr. Paul, let me throw that one to you first. This is a horrible situation.
Okay, Commander Drew, I'll take this. Yeah, looking at it, it is a tough situation. If it sounds like this is an undocumented person and now the family lives in fear, the only thing I think you can really tell her to be of comfort is that at a minimum, they need to find an immigration attorney. I don't, that's, there's no, it's not a matter of comfort. They need an immigration attorney. So if they're living in fear, why are they living in fear? When it's more than one, they just found one, they're going to find the rest of them. There's really not a lot you can do. I think you need to tell them to get an immigration attorney, and perhaps if you want to help them out, maybe you can pay for the first hour of consultation. Your daughter's an attorney, and they work on billable hours. There's very little that's free, but there's a lot of information available that's for free. You can do that. Maybe she can make friends with ChatGPT like you did,
Yeah.
and get some basic information. Again, don't go 100% on what you see there. ChatGPT and all the GPTs are not 100% accurate. They'll make up stuff if they get kind of punch drunk, but you can get a lot of basic information there. But I think they need the services of a good immigration attorney or a law firm that handles that.
Great answer, Dr. Paul. My answer is number one, I would pray. I would pray that politics change and that maybe your situation will change. The next thing I would do is just like you said, I would get an attorney. I would get all the information I could get. And I understand that they don't even want to leave their house because even if somebody hits them in a car, you can get they pay taxes. That's the amazing part. They get a tax ID number from the government, so they pay their taxes, but they can't get a license. They can't register a car. So usually they register it with a friend or something. But if they're just sitting in their car parked and somebody hits them, the police will come and their freedom can be gone. So they live in fear. They don't want to go to the movies. All they want to do is go to work, come home, and go to the grocery store. So my big thing is to pray because I do think there's something bigger out there than me. I know that for sure. And that might help. And times will change. Things don't always stay the same. But Dr. Paul said it. First of all, there are some lawyers out there, that work these kind of cases that do it for free. But I would work on that Chat GPT or any other of the AIs and find out exactly some of the things I can do to make it safer for me to live for now. But I would have to work. I'm sorry to say, God is what's going to have to change this and new politics. All right, Dr. Paul, that was a great, great one. Great one. And that means it is now time for Wingmen PSA. From the 11 Facts in Life, under fact number 8, power is asking for help and using it. Power is asking for help and using it. Dr. Paul, I mean that so much. Kids are scared to raise their hands because they look dumb. The problem is they are dumb for not raising their hands and let somebody to talk to them that they don't know what they're talking about. If you need help, it is time to raise your hand. But don't be needy. Don't just keep raising your hand. You got to do something with that help. I truly believe that help is out there. If you don't know how to spell a word, don't just keep walking around without learning how to spell it. Raise your hand. If you don't know how to do something at work, raise your hand. Ask somebody how to do it and become proficient in it. What is your thoughts on this, Dr. P?
Don't you remember that people would say the only dumb question oh, no, the only dumb question is a question that's not asked. That's a good attitude to have. What's the worst that can happen? Think about it. I'll look dumb. Well, they may already think you're dumb. So you got nothing to lose. Look at it that way. Don't worry about it.
That's excellent, Paul. And remember the whole sentence now. Power is asking for help and using it. There's where your power is. Not just asking, but using that help. All right, Dr. Paul, how about some we love the gouge. And what is the gouge? In the Navy, the gouge is shit you need to know, but sometimes nobody tells you. Well, this is a great thing, Dr. Paul, and I'm going to go for you first. These are questions to ask your parents while you still can. Now, both of us, our parents physically are not here anymore, but we're going to make believe that they are in their last chapter of life. Here's the question, Dr. Paul, and just tell me what do you think your parents would say, or your mom or your dad. What's something you into right now that I might not know about? What do you think one of your parents might say with a question like that?
I think my father would say that right now I'm in an advisory role because not long before he passed away, he'd retired for a while. And he said, I'm at the point now that I do what I want. And I noticed on his desk he had uh, some drawings and the names of some architects who obviously wanted his opinion on some things, and he was very relaxed. I remember seeing him. He didn't talk about it much, but he'd be going over these papers at night a few times because I was gone, and he was actually doing something else. But he liked doing the work. He was a plan examiner for the city of New York, but did most of his work with architects who were getting things done. But now he was doing it basically the same thing, but on his schedule. He seemed to be very happy with it. And my mother, I'd say, that's an easier one. What she was into was relaxing. She's she said, I spent enough time catching the buses and the trains, particularly going down to Manhattan because we were in Queens, going down to Manhattan every day, not forever until we got a car, because we didn't always have a car, and nobody had 2 cars. They got 2 cars. We had 2 cars in the family near the end of their work life. Very unusual to have 2 cars at that time. And, she really enjoyed that and not having to run on the run for buses and, catch the E train to 34th Street. So she was relaxed, but she'd just say, "I'm relaxing now, finally."
Oh, that's great. I think my mom would have, what's something you're into right now that I might not know about? Well, I didn't know in her later years, she went back to school. She went actually to Kingsborough Community College. She went to that college that I went back to in Brooklyn, and she started getting a writing class. And you should like that because you're an author. She's taking writing classes. And my dad, he would tell me that he's trying to be an actor because he did movies like Shaft, Shaft's Big Score, The Color Purple. And after training all these fighters, Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, and the rest of his career in boxing, those fighters were not fighting anymore. So he was trying to get into the movies, and he did pretty good. I still get a couple of checks now because of The Color Purple, believe it or not. And the checks are not a lot, but boy, if I'm getting this amount of money for his one line in Color Purple, I can't imagine what Oprah's check is.
Y Yeah, you're right, but, the fact that he did that because you just rattled off a number of very big time movies for their time. So I'd say he
Yes.
was very successful in that.
Yes, 100%. All right. People out there, we have a show called The Wingman Show. And the reason we have that is because we like to highlight people who take care of other people. And boy, do I have a wingman for you today. This guy's name is Dr. Michael Zollicoffer. They call him Dr. Z. Dr. Z is a doctor in Baltimore. And he said that he gave free care to all his patients for decades. If you didn't have the money, he didn't make you pay. He actually said, I'm going to see you. This is a quote from him. I'm going to see you no matter what. You walk in that door, you will be seen. You bring your grandmother with you, I'll see her too. Well, Dr. Z was doing all this great service in his community in Baltimore. He was recently diagnosed with double cancer. He had rectal cancer and renal cancer, and his Medicare was kind of messed up. It lapsed, or there was some kind of problem, and he could not afford his medical treatment for himself. And that's a horrible thing. He gave away all this treatment, and then when it came time for him to be sick, he couldn't afford medical care. Well, guess what? He had a high school friend named Michael Haney. Michael Haney started a GoFundMe campaign. 3,400 people in his community gave to that campaign, and they raised $280,000 to pay for his cancer treatment. Now, that's what I call a wingman. The entire community became wingmen because of Dr. Z being a wingman to the entire community. Dr. Paul, please tell me what you think about Dr. Z and that wonderful story.
Yeah, and I watched the video on Dr. Z. Yeah, he was a very wonderful person and literally, gave away his services for free. I guess he managed to keep the doors open somehow because some people were able to pay. But it's ironic that a doctor, well, anybody can get sick. Of course, doctors get sick, but part of the guy me is a doctor. He didn't have insurance, or he had an insurance problem, any kind of problem, because we will always assume that a doctor has the best insurance or doesn't need
Sure.
insurance because they'll live forever, which doesn't happen because I've outlived some of my doctors. So, but we just think that way. That's where we're raised. But Dr. Z is a tremendous guy. He has an infectious laugh. He reminds me of a couple of people that I know, and it's good that he touched the lives of so many people who are now touching his and extending it.
This reminds me of something, Dr. Paul. This reminds me of what they taught us when we were flying. If any emergency happens, the very first thing you do is put on your own oxygen mask.
Right.
And it looks to me like Dr. Z cared so much about everybody else, he let his insurance lapse, or he had a problem with Medicare, and he didn't fix it right away because he was more concerned about the others. Well, this might be a lesson for all of us. You must take care of yourself first. You must put on your own oxygen mask in order for you to fix the plane or help other people. I 100% think that that's what happened to him. Well, everybody out there, if you can hear my voice, if you can see me, whatever you think is important and whatever you think is beautiful, and especially whatever makes you happy, may you have that today and forever. I pray for peace.
Pray for peace to Commander Drew, and we appreciate all those who listen, like, and share our message. Please give us a good review if on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast platform you have. If you're watching on YouTube, a thumbs up, a like. We really be appreciate. It helps the algorithm. And share this with somebody you know, someone that needs to hear something good for today, whatever today is for you. Just keep it, just send it to them. Give them some inspiration. We all need inspiration every now and then when things look bleak and, and your spirit is low. But you've got to get up. I'll leave you with this. It was a phrase I saw in San Francisco many years ago, just walking around downtown, and it was a mission area where it's like a homeless center. And on a big mural, it said, "A man may be down, but he's never out." And I think that's a good attitude. I still remember it was about 15 years ago, but he's never out. So when you get knocked to the canvas, as George Foreman would say, make sure you get back up. Thank you very much.
And don't forget our frequent flow line. You guys keep writing those letters and we'll keep answering them. God bless you. Thank you once again, Dr. Paul Thompson, my friend. Thank you for your love, your time, and that's something that we won't ever get back. I want to thank all the listeners, too. Thank you so much for doing the show, Dr. Paul. We're jamming.
Well, thank you, Mr. Drew, for inviting me on. Always good to talk to you. And ladies and gentlemen, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast or any of the podcasts. If you're looking at YouTube, they say smash the like button. Don't smash it. Just press it gently and refer to use as a link to all your friends. You can also look at us on our website, wingmenshow.com, WINGMEN show, SHOW.com, altogether, wingmenshow.com. And we hope to see you in the future. Thanks again, Mr. Drew.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're still floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. May there be peace on earth, and goodwill towards all men and women.